to my channel. Now in this video, will be going through Eunos Primary School Practice Set 2 Foundation Science Booklet A, 18 MCQ questions. This is taken from their 2019 end of year exam questions. So most of the questions that you encounter here will be P5 topics like the plant reproduction, respiratory system, circulatory system, transport system. There will be some questions from P3, P4, very few. You may see one or two photosynthesis questions because that was in their syllabus before. I will not be discussing those because they're no longer in the P5 syllabus in the school. Okay, so I'll skip those questions on photosynthesis. Let's get started. Alright, now if you're using this as a revision, do pause the video before listening to the explanation. The diagram shows a fern and a bean plant. Now, a fern is a plant is a plant. Now, fern reproduced by spores. Bean plant, now what is a bean plant? Bean is a fruit, and fruit comes from flower. Bean is like a pot. Okay, so what's the similarity between a fern and a bean plant? I would say that they are both plants, but they are not both flowering plants. This is wrong because only the bean plant is a flowering plant. They both reproduce from seed. This is wrong because only bean plant reproduce from seeds. Fern reproduce from spores. Both have root, stems, and leaves. This is correct because plants have roots, stems, and leaves. This is a similarity. Next one. Now, construction workers wear a safety helmet to protect their heads. Now, what is a property of the material? This is a P3 topic on diversity. If you want to revise, go and check a P3 textbook called diversity. So, in that topic, you learn that there are different kinds of materials, and different materials have different properties. Properties are words like, they describe the materials like flexible, like strong, waterproof, can let light pass through. For example, these are all different properties, and there are more properties of materials. So which property keep the construction workers safe? So this is the purpose. This is the function of the helmet. So the helmet must have certain property to keep the workers safe. If some heavy things were to fall on the person's head, you will hit the helmet first. So you don't want the helmet to be waterproof. It doesn't matter. It can be waterproof, but if it doesn't keep the construction workers safe, when something hit the person's head, then it is useless. I don't want it to be flexible, like this is flexible, right? Why would I want my helmet to be flexible? But I want it to be strong. Strong means does not break easily. That's the meaning of strong. So if something were to fall on the head and it hits it and it doesn't break easily, then it wouldn't hit the person's head. Okay? Now, another possible answer is stiff. Because stiff means it doesn't bend easily. So if my head is inside and it hits, something heavy hits the helmet, and because it's stiff, this doesn't bend, alright, then of course it can also protect my head. Preferably something that is both strong and stiff. Answer is 1. Next one, question 3. This is a life cycle of a mealworm beetle, 4-stage life cycle: egg, larva, pupa, adult. At the egg stage, it doesn't feed. Larva stage, it eats a lot. In the pupa stage, it stops eating so that it can transform, metamorphosize into an adult after some days. So at which stage does the mealworm beetle stop feeding? That's the pupa stage. Right, answer is number 2. Next question. Now, Dini wanted to find out if oxygen is needed for seeds to germinate. Let's remember, so there are a few conditions for germination. There are your wow, there's oxygen, there's water, and there is warmth. Light is not needed for germination. Okay, so if the oxygen is needed for germination is the thing that Dini wants to find out. This should be the only change variable. She should change the amount of oxygen, but she should not change the amount of water. Keep this the same. Keep the amount of warm the same. So you see, all have moist soil, so all have water inside. Good. Looks like the same number of 6. Good. Now, this is a wooden box, so light cannot reach this. This is container. Light doesn't matter, by the way, because since light is not a factor. So if you look at these two, this cover means that there's no oxygen inside. There's no cover means air can go in, air can go out, so there is oxygen inside. So in these two cases, oxygen, the amount of oxygen is the only change variable. Have oxygen, no oxygen. This is what we want to find out, right? So the question answer should be set up B and C. Next one. The diagram shows the movement of blood in the human circulatory system. So which one is represented by A, B, and C? So we always look at where the rich in oxygen blood comes from. I look at this. Okay, look at this. Why? I'm looking for the part where arrows come out from. If arrow comes out from C and the blood that comes out here is rich in oxygen, this one must be the lungs. Because lungs is where gaseous exchange happen. We take in air, and in our lungs, the oxygen will be absorbed into our bloodstream. This is also where the rich in carbon dioxide blood will be sent to. Alright, send it to the lungs so our lungs can get rid of the carbon dioxide. Our lungs is where we take in oxygen. So C must be lungs. Hey, we got the answer. But that's to be very clear, where does the oxygen-rich blood is sent to? It's sent to the heart. A is the heart. Yes, that's correct. Heart will pump the oxygen-rich blood to all parts of the body. B will be all parts of the body. Legs is part of the body. So answer is 1. Next one. The diagram shows tiny openings found on the leaf. So these tiny openings are what we know as stomata. And stomata allow for gaseous exchange. Gaseous exchange. It's like the nostrils of the human being, but plants have this thing called stomata. So which of the following parts in the human body has a similar function? So you're comparing to the human body, it's definitely not the heart. Gaseous exchange. The lungs is where gaseous exchange happen in the human body. So it must be the lungs. Windpipe is only the place that oxygen is sent, where air travels down to the lungs. This is not where gaseous exchange happen. Answer is number 2. This one is about heart rate. The graph shows Hazik's heart rate over a period of time. Now, of course, if you are exercising more, there will be higher heart rate because your heart must pump harder to send more oxygenated blood to the rest of your body. And the heart pumps harder and faster to send more carbon dioxide rich blood to the lungs to get rid of them. So which part of the graph shows Hazik's rate while he was running? Running means high activity. So the higher the heart rate, that must be the case. Here is where he has the highest heart rate. Here is where he was running. So the answer is B, C. Okay. I don't see B, C here. That is strange. The next best answer I can think of is AB. Because AB is when he starts to run. I think the best answer should be BC. I'm not quite sure. I don't see BC here. If I were you, I would raise my hand and check the teacher. Teacher, is there anything with the question? If not, then this will be the case, because this is where they start running. This is where they start to slow down. Right? And this is where it's probably walking. So I don't see BC, which is unfortunate. So I think then the next best answer will be AB. Okay? Next one. Question 8. Sully observed that part X of a stem was swollen. Top part, whenever the top part is swollen, definitely food carrying tubes were cut here. Outer layer, if you watch my other video, outer layer always means food carrying tube. Always means food carrying tube. So this means in this case, the food carrying tubes were removed. So food that was made in the leaves was sent down, down, down. It reached here, no more tube. So the food cannot reach the bottom part of the plant, cannot go past this part. So it all start to get jammed up here, all get accumulating here. All the excess food start to accumulate here. Right, so food could not reach the bottom of the plant is correct. It's not about the water. The water can travel because the water carrying tube was not cut. Water absorbed through the roots can travel through the water carrying tubes up past this part that was cut. So whenever you say food and water, something is wrong here. Water carrying tubes was not cut. See, water and carrying tubes were not cut. Nothing to do with water here. This question is about photosynthesis, so we're going to skip this question and don't do this question because you're not needed to learn this at P5. Right, movement of water in a plant. So you know that which part of the plant absorbs water? Roots absorb water. So in other words, arrow should be from roots to the stem. Here the arrow is wrong direction. So which one is incorrect means which one is wrong. Alright, and the answer for this is the roots part is wrong. B is wrong. Okay, B is the answer. Next one. There were ice cubes placed on the table. One ice cube, many ice cubes. Which of the following show the possible temperature of ice cube on both? Now, so long as you still see ice, the temperature will be at 0. What about ice mixed with some melting ice water here? It's still at 0 degrees Celsius. So long as there's ice, the temperature of the ice, right? Ice will still be at 0. So both will be at 0. Answer is number 3. This is about a water cycle question. Now, there's always a sun in the picture. What's the sun for? To provide heat. What's the heat for? The water here will gain heat and then it will evaporate. R is evaporation. And before it turns to a cloud, it has to condense. Condensation is when it loses heat. So which one does not involve a change in state? Clouds is actually tiny water droplets. T is actually just raining. Alright, a big word is called precipitation, but I don't have to learn this word. So from water in the clouds to water in the rain. So this, no change in state, water to water, same thing. So T is the answer. It's a circuit question. Now, Ben used the setup below to find out the property of rod M. So you're trying to find out whether rod M is a conductor of electricity or insulator. How do we know? When you put the rod here, both bulbs lit up, right? This means that this must be a conductor of electricity. And what are conductors of electricity? Based on the experiment in school, you will find that most of them are metals. Okay, so answer is number 1. Steel is a kind of metal. Wood and plastic are all non-metals. And non-metals are insulators of electricity. We are almost done. Just left with a few questions. Susan cut out a shape from a square sheet of paper. Square sheet of metal. Metal doesn't let light pass through. So this one will block light. And cut another shape from a square sheet of clear glass. Now, clear glass, the word clear tells you it is transparent. Transparent means light can pass through. So she glued the metal and clear glass sheets together and placed them between a torch and a white screen. Okay. So actually, when you say clear glass, right, can light pass through this part? Can. How about this part? also can. So it's almost like no difference. It's like you're just putting the whole thing as a plastic sheet or clear glass sheet. Whether cut hole or don't cut hole, light can still pass through this. So not much difference. So in other words, I'm going to ignore the effect of this. There will be no triangular shape of anything. So anything in triangle shape is definitely wrong already. Okay? So this is like nothing, you know? It's just like you're putting just a metal sheet only. Just focus on the metal sheet. And if that's the case, light cannot pass through the red color part because this is opaque. Light can only pass through the cut out part in the center. So what will you get? You get a bright circular spot of light, which is this. Okay, answer is number 3. There's 4 more questions hanging there and we'll finish this lesson. A toy tank works on 2 batteries. It gives out light and sound when a button is pressed. So when you press one button, both will work at the same time. You will light up, then you'll make a lot of sound. Ding, 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 ding. Okay? So which is a possible circuit? So you see, if you close this circuit, what will happen? There are 2 batteries here. Then current will flow, light up. Yes, very good. 1 is the answer. Let's check number 2. Number 2, what's wrong? This part is wrong. Notice that the wires, both wires here only touch the metal tip of the bulb. No wire is touching the metal casing. That's why current will flow. The sound player will sound, but this one will not light up. In this case here, the bulb is connected properly to the wires. Sound player, yes, very good. Okay, if I close this, very good. The problem here is the battery, you see. Battery must be arranged as in plus, minus, plus, minus. This is correct arrangement for battery. But here is minus to minus. The battery put in the wrong position, upside down. So this one cannot work. No current will flow through. Answer is number 1. Studies another circuit question. You'll see 2 batteries, a bulb, a switch. You'll see a glass rod. Remember, glass is a insulator of electricity. Current cannot pass through here, no matter whether you close switch or don't close switch. Steel bar, yes, can. This is a conductor of electricity. So current can pass through this. Plastic, current cannot pass through. This is a non-metal. So if I were to close the switch to make the bulb light up, I must close this switch. So current will flow this way, pass through the steel bar, close this switch here, flow through the bulb. Okay, so only care about this part. In other words, I only care about switch S1 and switch S3. Answer is S1 and S3. Okay, 2 more questions. This is a magnet question. There are 2 rods here. And our City Sting, she predicted both are magnets. How can you tell for sure? Now, you know magnets can attract and repel other magnets, right? So which one will tell you they are definitely magnets? Only when I see repulsion. Okay, so this is attraction. They go towards each other. This one doesn't tell me that they are both magnets. This one tells me that they are repelling each other. Number 2 definitely tell me that they are both magnets. This one, I don't understand the arrow. This one means this is attracted to this. I don't understand what is this for. This is wrong. Okay, doesn't make sense. So this is the only one that shows repulsion. So this definitely shows both are definitely magnets. Okay, both are definitely magnets. They repel. Last question, another circuit question. In the 3 circuits below, all the bulbs and batteries are identical. All, and they're all working, so nothing is spoiled. So which is the dimmest? Now, usually to make it the brightest, you need to have the fewest bulbs and the most batteries. Then you'll be the brightest. If you want to be the dimmest, it must be the most bulbs plus the fewest battery. You have less battery, less current flow, you see. So you see, I want dimmest, I want the most bulb. I see 2 bulbs here and only 1 battery. This is the most battery. Right, so this one will be, and the fewest bulb. So this one will be the brightest. So definitely answer is not Z. This one, same number of bulbs but fewer battery. X is less bright than Z. This is the dimmest, is one battery, but here two bulbs. The answer is Y. So arrange from, let's say, brightest to dimmest. Okay, the brightest one will be this. In between one will be X. The dimmest one will be Y. This is the arrangement. Alright, I hope this helped you in your revision. All the best. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.